We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
I'm Sarah Nystrom from Sweden, aka Chief Omobawale, Communication Queen. Keep watching VOP TV.
I am Samantha Jacobs, representing the States. Miami's in the house, and I want to make a shout out to VOP TV. I'm a humanitarian, and I'm also a rep in the film industry and the art industry. I help dreams come true, and I help you keep on that path. Shout out to VOP TV because you're helping people stay on their path too. Cheers.
All right, my name is John Odibo. Keep watching Voice of the People because it's a fantastic station to be with all the time. Thank you very much.
My name is Pastor Elvis Ciro, the convener of the Voice Achievers Award, and keep watching VOP. Yes, that is the channel for all the people. No color, no race. Thank you so much.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, this is Abbas Sunkan from the Netherlands. I am a designer and I'm here in Eco Hotel and Suits. Keep watching VOP. The Voice of the People. Don't touch that dial.
When I first heard VOP, I thought they were talking about me because I'm a voiceover personality, but no, this is...
What's up? This is Gaze Baba, and you're watching VOP TV. Usually you'll be told to not touch the dial, but I tell you to touch the dial and increase the volume. You're like, keep it locked, it's Afro Gospel. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shego Arunze, you're watching VOP. Don't change the dial.
Majo, fine girl. Majo, fine babe. Yes, don't touch the dial. This is me, Dr. Adewale Iba. Keep watching VOPT.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
Mr. Ofamiloni, and here's to VOP TV, Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. Awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi. From the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
Good morning and welcome to VOP This Morning on Voice of the People Television. It's a bright and beautiful Friday. Today is February 13th, 2026. Well, you know what, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Now, we will be here tomorrow, but this crew will not be here. So let's take this opportunity to tell you Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. And now, when you are celebrating, please celebrate responsibly. You understand what I mean by that. Good morning, Moses.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Jay. Good morning. Happy Valentine's.
I wish you the same. You're already in the spirit.
I'm already in the spirit.
Happy Valentine's Day to you.
All right. Nigeria is rich, but politicians have turned it into a crime scene. That is coming from Peter Obi. Plus, in the State of the Nation, Tinubu's reforms is the rescue mission that saved Nigeria from collapse. That is coming from Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State. Now, these are the major topics of discussion. But you also have other interesting stories, other interesting topics that we'll discuss in the course of the show. Join us, come along with us as we take you into all of this.
Well, talking about Valentine, for those that might want to have money bouquets, I know Jane here would like to be served a money bouquet. You know, you can't receive one right now.
You know, the CBN has one.
Yeah, CBN has one that amounts to financial crime. Yeah. It amounts to abuse of the naira. So please, gentlemen, don't bother yourselves with money bouquets, all right?
But just, we can still receive
you can do transfer.
You can do alert, please.
You can do transfer bouquet.
Transfer bouquet.
Yes.
That is if the network allows you to do transfer.
Now, here we go again. Network.
If the network allows. Oh, well, let's move on to one of the conversations Nigerians are having. There was this message that came out yesterday about IKEDC, that is the Ikeja Electric Distribution Company, issuing a stern directive to all its customers, warning that failure to submit valid tax identification details by February 20, 2026 could lead to suspension of electricity services. Interesting. In line with and this is in line with the newly enforced Nigeria Tax Act 2025, which came into effect on January 1, 2026. The company announced that all invoices, including electricity bills, must now carry at least one approved identification detail, such as a tax identification number, TIN, Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC registration number, or the National Identification Number, NIN. Well, IKEDC explained that without these details, bills will be considered invalid, meaning customers may not be able to receive electricity supply after the deadline. I laugh in Japanese. The announcement has sparked heated reactions among residents and business owners in Lagos, many of whom fear the policy could plunge households and enterprises into darkness, while others argue it is a necessary step to enforce accountability and curb tax evasion. I don't know what tax evasion has to do with you paying for electricity that you get. I mean, you're paying for it already. I don't see how, tax evasion comes into this. And, it's just troubling. When this was posted on my estate platform and people just went crazy asking, what does this mean? What is going to happen? Are they going to, cut off our supply? Some people have NIN, some people don't have TIN because, they're still trying to regulate things and all of that. But it's just troubling that this is coming out. And, in the usual fashion here in Nigeria, if you've ever been in civil service, you will understand that things like this, they just bombard you with information and put you under pressure to do it within a very short time. And then you start to run from pillar to post, looking for a way to solve the problem. These are things that ordinarily the agency or whatever, or would have done on their own. I think this is uncalled for. That's basically my take on this. This is uncalled for. And the pressure that they're putting on Nigerians is absolutely unnecessary. If you have an NIN, with the NIN, all other agencies can get into the portal and know who is doing what, your NIN is linked to your BVN is linked to your NIN. When you go to register, open an account in the bank, they collect your NIN, they give you, they bring out your BVN, and then you register all of it. So all of that should be able to tell who is a Nigerian, who is paying tax, who is doing what. You don't need, 200 and something million people in Nigeria. This is IKEDC now. Before you know it, it's going to be Eco Electric, and then Enugu Electric as well, and then, the other one. And you want the whole of Nigerians to start registering TIN and NIN and all of that. Come on, man. Come on. I think we can do better.
Moses, you hit the nail on the head when you said that the Nigerian civil service, even the Nigerian system, we spoke about this yesterday, is designed to stifle people. It's designed to make you be on your toes. It's designed to make you struggle. The NIN, we talked about how we even got it, before they eventually lasted.
Exactly, yes.
And then see this one now. What is even making me so angry is the fact that just 1 week. The deadline is 7 days from
It will
now.
be extended.
Definitely. The whole intent is to make you panic, to make you be unsettled. I've never seen such.
Because you understand that if you don't panic, you won't
do the right thing.
You won't do the right thing. Yeah. That's Nigeria.
Yeah.
No, you see, this issue, there are a lot of talking points around this issue. Let me start with what Moses said, NIN, National Identification Number. Why wouldn't someone have a NIN? Because in Senate claims, people that we look up to, the moment a child is given birth to, I think within a week or so, the person gets a national identity. So all the issue of having to struggle at some point, when you are taken care of at that point. Nigeria is a work in progress. Nigeria is a work in progress. The people that are the developed countries, I'm sure that at some point, in their stages of development, they pass through all of this. But the worrisome thing in all of this, to me, is the fact that, like Moses said, and I align my thoughts with him, something that you are paying for. Why will it now be tied to tax? You're already paying for the electricity. And even the electricity you are paying for. Now, apart from being unstable, it's also taxed. Because you're also paying tax on that electricity. So what is the issue of having to compel you again to produce a tax identification number to be able to, access electricity? I think that is the point of divergence as far as I'm concerned. The issue of tax, I've always believed that Nigerians should pay tax. Tax is something that, globally, people shy away from. People try to avoid tax. But government in one way or the other, nobody wants to pay tax. But government in one way or the other compel people to pay tax. But the problem we have in Nigeria is, what do we do with the tax money? That has always been our issue. What do we do with the tax money? Until such a time that Nigerians believe that, well, if I pay tax, my tax money will work for me. We'll keep all this going back and forth, people trying to evade tax in one way or the other. Where tolls are collected, just in front of those toll gates, you see craters. If you go to motor parks, there's no motor parks that have existed for like almost 30, 40 years. The moment it rains, the entire motor park is flooded. But they collect tax Monday to Monday, January to December, from as long as 1980 to up until this moment. Yet, those those parks, are not paved. So what is the essence of paying off all of this tax? Because at the end of the day, when the levies are collected, it gets into the pocket of the chairman of the NU or the park manager, and you see, when you see them eating like this, you even have pity on them, big bowls of meat and drink, meanwhile, people are suffering. People are are paying levies. And that is the same thing that happens about taxes. We pay taxes. And our politicians use that tax money to live large. And they turn around to ask us to tighten our belts. That is where the problem is.
It's ill-timed. I think even before they even bring this up, they should fix the system. We don't have lights. Light has been erratic. And one of the 8-point agenda of this administration was that we're going to have lights. You can't be asking us to pay for what we are not even enjoying. And then even the process of getting these documents, it's not even seamless. And again, you begin to wonder, what's the essence of having NIN when we still need to do this tax, whatever? Because I'm also thinking...
Tax identification.
Yes, because I still don't understand why everyone has to, because I know there's some people who are not really earning.
No, the fact is that for you to own a house and have electricity in that house, you should be doing something, so you should pay tax. I think that's the argument.
We want the system fixed.
Yes, we want the system fixed.
Yes.
We want the system
and they will
fixed.
happily pay the tax. Let's move on to some other story. In an interesting twist at the Federal High Court in Abuja, Justice Obiora Egwatu has withdrawn from presiding over 2 high-profile cases against former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, citing personal reasons and the interest of justice. The EFCC is prosecuting Malami on a 16th count charge of money laundering involving over 8.7 billion, while also seeking the forfeiture of 57 properties worth an estimated 2.12 billion, allegedly acquired during his time in office. These properties spanning hotels, schools, residential estates, and printing presses across Kebbi, Kano, and Abuja have fueled public outrage over corruption in Nigeria's corridors of power. The cases were initially handled by Justice Emeka Nwite, who had ordered interim forfeiture of the assets before granting bail to Malami and his co-defendants, warning against attempts to influence the bench. Egwatu's sudden recusal has now thrown the legal battle into uncertainty, intensifying public debate over judicial independence, political influence, and the credibility of Nigerians' anti-graft war. I don't think we've really, come to terms with the gravity of what we have at stake with this Malami's case, because this is a former Nigerian chief law officer. When you think about the fact that this was someone who was saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that laws are enforced in Nigeria.
Rule of law.
Yeah, rule of law. Then we understand the mess, the deep mess we really are in. But again, irrespective of the judge's decision, what his reasons for withdrawing from the case, that's not even the issue. What Nigerians are hearing is that here we go again. Another high-profile case that would linger for long and then get stalled, and maybe after a few years comes up again and justice is not really served. History has even trained us to believe that this is normal. It's normal in Nigeria. We had the case of Ibori, which lingered for years before the UK government, I think, stepped in. We had Orji Zokalu.
12 years.
For 12 years. We had Jariye. We had Jolin Yame. We also have the former Minister of Petroleum, Desiane, who...
We have Yaya Bello.
Exactly, who infamously asked to be moved to Nigeria to come and, have the hearing here, because she knows anything can happen here.
We have Dasuki.
We have Dasuki.
We have Farouk.
Exactly. So history has trained us that this is just one of those things. When you are powerful, when you are connected, your crime, the enormity of your crime does not really matter. It's just who you are. And it's really sad because...
In fact, the more you steal,
the more you steal,
they avoid you.
The more they avoid you. And in short, the richer you are, the easier it is for you to get off the
away
hook.
with it. Yeah.
It's really sad. And Malami's case really hurts me because in his time, he was the one who announced that they were going to repatriate more of Abacha's funds into Nigeria. And he ended up stealing more than, allegedly stealing. Allegedly, please. Allegedly stealing more than what was even repatriated at the time. And again, 57 houses, 57 properties, hotels, schools. There was something Moses said yesterday that if you steal, was it 1 trillion? There was this analogy that you gave that was mind-boggling. That if you steal that amount of money...
And you spend 1 million naira
every
each
day. I mean, even your...
It'll take you 2,000
It will take you 2,000 years. Yes. So your entire lineage will not even be able to really enjoy that money.
Depends on how you spend it.
Wait, 1 million a day.
1 million naira.
1 million a day.
If you want to buy a car of
100 million.
10 million, 100 million all at once.
You buy that car every day.
Probably. You might reduce it.
Now, before I have my take on this, the figures that Jen reeled out are actually naira denominated, before we think
not
that
the dollars.
No, it's not the dollar denominated, it's naira denominated. Now that said, when I read this story, I said, The man's name is Egwuatu. And Egwuatu literally means, I'm not afraid.
Oh.
But the man is scared now. He's accusing himself. So he's not leaving his name. So when people answer names, they should also try to live up to their names. Now, that's by the side. The meat of the matter is that we have started, like you said, we have started again, you know. The back and forth will linger for a very long time. Oh, now, is this witch hunt? No, it is not witch hunt. No, it's because I joined ADC. No, it's because they're after me. You know? And I didn't get that, but that's a lot coming our way. We have reared out names.
Yeah.
People, especially, it becomes instructive for us because some of those people went scot-free here. And like Ibori, when he went to UK, just one case.
Just one case.
And they caught him. And he served his jail term. You know what? When he came back, his people even celebrated him.
They did.
So we talk about loss of values. Unlike what we had, the erosion of our traditional African values, where thieves are honored now. And that is why when people get into government and they don't steal enough, when they go back to their community will say, we are disappointed in you. You know, but if you steal enough and come back home, they will shield you. You know, so that is our new norm now. That's our own process of growth. Unfortunately, society is at the receiving end of it. Monies that are meant for public schools, for hospitals, for roads, to build Nigeria up, you know, to develop the economy, is taken away by people. Monies recovered, like we see now in the Malami's case, is allegedly looted. Looted money recovered has been looted. So where does that leave us as a people? And I hope that this back and forth will not continue. Let's ensure that, well, people, because we have all of these things because there are no consequences for crimes. And because we don't punish the small crimes, the big ones thrive.
No, we punish the small crimes.
No, sometimes we don't even punish the small crimes.
When I mean small crimes in this context, I mean the lowly placed, the ordinary man. You see a man who maybe boggled his boss. I'm not saying that was good. You see him being tried. And,
I understand your perspective.
And then the bigger men go off the hook.
They get away with it.
They get away with it.
Yes, that's an angle to it. But when I say we don't punish small crimes, it's because, like Aline Dume told us, well, if this amount is not up to 1 trillion naira, why bother yourself? EFCC should not disturb you.
All right, let's move on to another story.
Okay, now, former Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai was at the center of a dramatic confrontation at Abuja's Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on Thursday, when security operatives reportedly attempted to arrest him upon his return from Cairo, Egypt. According to his aide, Muyiwa Adekeye, El-Rufai refused to follow the agents without a formal invitation or warrant of arrest, insisting on due process. While viral videos captured a tense scuffle as operatives forcibly seized his international passport. His lawyer, Obong Akpan, condemned the incident as an illegal arrest attempt and executive overreach, alleging that the Department of State Services, that's the DSS, acted without lawful authority, while the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had only issued a written invitation to his residence during his absence. Now, there's a video on the screen, and that is the scuffle. I hope we can, wish we could get a voice to that, so that the audio, so that we could listen to what El-Rufai is, the altercation between him and the security agent there.
Nobody, not even the president, will tell me I have to do anything. It's a free country. If you want a letter, if you want to invite me,
invite him and then he will.
Nobody will arrest him.
Listen, nobody, not even the president, will tell me I have
Now, there you have it. That's the scuffle at the airport between the security agents and Nasiru El-Rufai and his loyalists and all of that. I think he preempted this, you know, because he had said, I might be arrested anytime soon.
I think a letter was sent to his residence when he was away.
EFCC.
Yes, by EFCC. Sometime in December.
Yes.
When he was away. Yeah,
but the DSS, you know, wanted to arrest him at the airport. Now, I have been trying to put this thing within context of arrests. Does it look like...
It wasn't exactly an arrest. It was more like an invitation.
No.
The letter was an invitation.
No, I'm not talking about the letter. I'm talking about what happened at the airport.
Yeah, they were calling him in for questioning and all.
And he refused. Why?
Yeah, because he said he needed a warrant.
And that is why I'm trying to, let's put it in context. Is it proper that before EFCC or no, before DSS queries you, they must issue a letter to you? Or before police arrests you, they must issue a warrant to you?
Well, if there's going to be an arrest that is not taking place at the scene of a crime, then there should be, ordinarily, there should be a warrant. Say, okay, we have come to, call you in.
Okay.
So there should be a warrant of arrest.
There should be a warrant.
There should be a warrant.
As a matter of fact, I mean, we are trying to understand the law here. So what Erufai did is correct.
Ordinarily, I'm not a fan of Erufai.
No, well, let's leave him out of it. Let's leave the messenger.
I can't leave him out of it.
No. What I mean is that if it happened to me at the airport, what would be my position in all of this?
You are an ordinary man. Okay. So if it happens to you...
But I'm Nigerian.
Yes.
We are conceptualizing the whole thing now.
I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
Now, ordinarily, it's wrong for people to just walk up and... Now, they can invite you, all right? Invite you and say, come for questioning, all right? Not outrightly arresting.
Ambushing
and arresting and then snatching his passport. That is wrong. You can request for the passport, not to snatch it. That is on one side.
Maybe because he refused to hand it over.
Okay. That is on one side. Wrong.
Okay.
It's wrong. But then this is in a Nigerian context, like you said. This is a country where even people like Erufai have broken the law a lot of times. When I saw this story, I had to go back in time. I remember there was a case against him in 2025 about the arrest of certain individuals, if I remember correctly. So Adara elders, about 9 of them were arrested. He arrested them when he was governor, sometime in 2019. Detained them. Now let me remind Nigerians of that story really, because in Adara community, Kajuru area of Kaduna State, there were attacks, incessant attacks at that time. And then a traditional ruler was killed by unknown gunmen. When the ruler was killed, the Kaduna State government, led by Malam Nasir El-Rufai, called for a town hall meeting, and the elders came for the town hall meeting, and they were arrested.
Without warrant?
Without warrant, without explanation, and detained for over 40 days. If I'm not mistaken, about 43 days. They were detained without trial, over a month in detention. And then after a while, he was advised by the Attorney General of they were released. And then they went to court later, and the court granted a certain sum, that he was supposed to pay about 900 million or thereabouts, that he was supposed to pay, which I don't know, as damages, which I don't think he has paid yet. So we have political office holders, I don't want to say rulers, but those in government break the law a lot of times. But when it comes to their own cases, they now put that same law in front of you and say, no, it is wrong to do this. You can't just arrest me. But you have arrested people a lot of times, detained them without trial.
In all of this, do you know what I come up with? They didn't want to arrest him.
They what?
They didn't want to arrest him.
Okay.
If they want to arrest him, one man would defy an entire directorate of state services. No, they didn't want to arrest him. So that's it. But like I said, we are putting it in context now. If somebody like El-Rufai will not be arrested, I know they have arrested Showore a lot of times at the airport. A lot of people have been stopped from traveling and taken in by the DSS. And I mean, they didn't make a fuss of it. So if it is proper, if it is not proper, to accost people when they are traveling or when they are coming in and question them, then they shouldn't do it to any other person. I mean, if El-Rufai has proven to us that, well, you cannot just arrest people like that, then let's have it for everybody.
And not selective justice.
And not selective justice.
I agree with you.
Anyway, let's quickly run into the papers before we get into our major topics.
Without a warrant. Without a warrant. Let's emphasize that. Without a warrant of arrest. Then you can arrest people.
Okay, Jane, you have the papers?
Yes, we do. Let's start off with the front page of the Punch newspaper. Nass to harmonize electoral bill on Monday. Senate reps' versions of bill face final reconciliation. Real-time results transmission not same as e-voting, says Senate. Fubara Fires Commissioners Assembly awaits new list. Police hunt abductors of 12-year-old Oyo schoolgirl. El Rufai sparks controversy after airport arrest drama. Jonathan floats 50-year cap for African presidents. Inec seeks nearly 1 trillion for 2027 elections. 2027, Atiku Fayoshe clash over Makinde's Mina visit. Those are the, vandalism causing flooding on Lagos Calabar Highway. Blackout fears grow over gas plant maintenance. And on the front page of The Guardian, National Assembly tightens grip on public finances amid 2027 election funding debate. Senate, real-time results transmission does not translate to e-voting. Those are the big stories on the front page. Murtala at 50, African leaders trade blames over continent woes, gerontocracy. OPEC taxes take over 90% of NNPCL's 60.5 trillion naira 2025 revenue as Otedola predicts naira rebound. We must outgrow disregard for rule of law, El Rufai says after attempted arrest. Those are the big stories on the front page of The Guardian.
All right, there you have it. That's pretty much how far we can go on newspaper headlines, but we'll get deeper into these headlines at 10 o'clock when we get into newspaper review. Now let's get into our first major conversation for this morning. 2027 general elections, INEC demands 873 billion naira from National Assembly for successful conduct of polls. Let's examine this when we come back from this break. Join us again.
Extraordinary. Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where power shifts its every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we'll bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not speed. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice. In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Mr. Ofamiloni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arararara, my name is Made Kuti and you're watching BOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls.
264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, government.
Thanks for staying with us. Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, the election umpire, has told the National Assembly it requires a staggering 873.78 billion naira to successfully conduct the 2027 general elections, warning that funding gaps could derail preparations. Well, the Commission explained that the amount covers logistics, technology upgrades, and personnel, stressing that timely approval is critical to avoid last-minute chaos. Well, lawmakers have expressed concerns over the huge figure, noting that Nigeria's strained economy may struggle to accommodate such expenditure, while civil society groups argue that electoral funding must be prioritized to safeguard democracy. Well, at the same time, INEC has declined to comment on whether it has the capacity for real-time electronic transmission of results, a key demand from opposition parties and reform advocates after controversies surrounding the 2023 polls. Critics say the Commission's silence raises doubts about transparency and credibility, while supporters insist INEC should focus on strengthening its infrastructure before making promises it cannot keep. Now, let's bring in our guests. We've been joined in our Lagos studio here by Mr. Dele Fanimo. Dele is a reporter and a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Dele, and thanks for joining.
Good morning, it's my pleasure.
Okay, good to have you, sir. And we have also been joined by Mr. Eze Eluche. Mr. Eluche is an attorney at law and a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Mr. Eluche, and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning.
Good morning to you, Fanimo. My pleasure to be here.
You're welcome, sir. We also have Barrister Asim Adams, who's a legal practitioner, civil rights activist, and a political affairs analyst. Barrister Adams, thanks for joining us on VOP this morning.
Yeah, good morning to you and good morning to everybody.
Good to have you, sir. We appreciate your presence.
And my brother is good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good
Okay,
morning.
Good, good. Now let's run into it. Let's start from the studio here. Delhi, 873.78 billion naira for the conduct of 2027 elections. Beyond that, they are asking for 171 billion naira for this year's activities. That is to run Inec. That's close to, if you take some figures, if you add some figures to it, it will amount to 1 trillion naira for the conduct of our elections. And National Assembly is saying, in this economic situation that we are, you're asking for this amount of money. Is there justification for us to spend that amount of money just to conduct elections?
Well, let me start on this note that it appears that you may have to pardon my stuttering at some point because you arrayed two erudite lawyers against me this morning. I don't know how I'm going to survive.
You are not under trial.
I'll try my best to see if I can navigate my way through without stepping on landmines from these lawyers.
Good, good.
Well, that said, let me say that and it may not actually be the money that will be released to these organizations, government organizations. You recall that I think less than 1% of health budget was released last year. And so, but on the contrary, when we hear of this humongous money, we tend to believe that such money will be made available at instant calls, but it doesn't happen that way. So for that 171, it's just the normal budgetary proposal that we can, if it goes to defend it in the National Assembly, at the end of the day, it may just get maybe between 50 and 70% of the actual estimate. That said, now about this 800 and something billion that is meant for the next year election, I still consider it to be on the high side. But then, don't forget that this money will be used for logistics, payment of ad hoc staff. There are over 360,000 polling units in the country. And each of these polling units will be manned by ad hoc staff that are supposed to be paid. And the elections are also staggered. Don't forget that there are two off-season gubernatorial elections this year. Ekiti State and one other state, Osun State, will conduct their election this year. You factor that into it.
FCTA
then
elections.
You also have this number of ad hoc staff that will do presidential stroke, House of Reps, Senate election, and then the following election, which will be between 2 or 3 weeks gap, would also be conducted by the same ad hoc staff. And they pay them substantial amount of money. That's just one of the layers. What about the returning officers, the supervisor in the polling unit, and all that? So altogether, about a million ad hoc staff will be paid during this period. So then the issue of logistics, Inec cannot provide all the vehicles that will be used in transporting sensitive materials from one location to the other. In some cases, if you are moving sensitive electoral materials from Abuja, the headquarters of Inec, to states, you use aircrafts.
And I also understand
You have to pay
they collaborate with National Union of Road Transport.
Exactly. So you have to pay for all these logistics. So when you factor all this, you know that it's a huge amount.
Okay. Like you said, we have not yet seen the breakdown.
Yes.
Okay. Now, before we move on, when you said that the 171 billion they're asking for, it's a yearly ritual, an annual ritual, like capital expenditure.
Capital and
recurrent expenditure. Capital expenditure, like is it?
Capital expenditure, like they want to fix one or two things. They want to buy new cars for Inec operations.
Okay.
They want to renovate their offices. They want to acquire new technology towards ensuring that there will a credible election and all that.
All right.
So that is just the run of the mill. But the real issue that should be debated
is one for 2027.
For the 2027.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Adelefanimo. Let's quickly run to Barrister Eze Luche to give us his thoughts on the staggering amount, 873.78 billion naira, meant for 2027 elections. It's not been approved, but that is what Inec is asking, is demanding from the National Assembly, from the federal government. We need this amount of money to be able to conduct a free, fair, credible election in 2027. Mr. Luche, how do you react to this amount of money? Let's have your broad reaction.
Thank you very much. I think increasingly I'm convinced that Amupiton will not be a change. It will be more of the same. It will be the norm, what we've been hearing about or seeing from Inec chairpersons. Why do I say this? This budget is just virtually, it will be a copy and paste of the previous budget for the last cycle of elections, plus incrementals. I mean, if a man comes into an office and he doesn't begin to first of all assess what is available, it gives me goosebumps that he only wants to replicate the norm. Because these budgets will be for office equipment, operational vehicles, typewriters, laptops, computers. What was in the previous budget for the last elections? Now, if you don't ask where were the last ones, that gives me the grips. That gives me the notion that this man just wants to repeat what happened in the past and grab his own and move on. Amupiton does not represent the change, because we are not the only country having elections, for goodness sake. Other countries have elections. Even like just on Thursday, Bangladesh held its own elections, and by Friday, which is by Friday morning, today's morning, the results are known. And they had over 60 million voters. And they counted and they were able to deliver at less than 50% of what this man is demanding for elections. And they'll give us this crap about the terrain of Nigeria, the swamp, the mangroves, the desert. Bangladesh has this all, has everything. So the budget that Amupiton has presented only underscores the fact that we are going to have more of the same. Because a man that does not ask what happened in the past to correct changes or to correct wrongs will only replicate the wrongs of the past. And when you look at the comment by the spokesperson, when he was asked about whether INEC can implement real-time transmission of votes, the comment was, I will rather say, very foolish. Foolish in the sense that what he should have said, whatever laws that the National Assembly passes, INEC will implement. And not to say when the laws come out, then they will now know what to say. What do you mean by what to say? If the National Assembly says them of electronic transmission, who are you to begin to discuss what to say? So when you look at this combination of this and what has been transpiring in the past, you now really realize that Nigerians have to be on their toes with this INEC. We should not give the gap. Just like Nigerians came on the streets over this electronic transmission of votes, we should be following this INEC, this Amupiton's INEC, as we should have done with the previous ones, because he has not shown any sign of representing change, but he is showing sign of replicating the evils of the past. And this should be sent clearly to him. The budget, like previous budgets, a lot of money will be wasted. A lot of ballot papers have been printed that will not even be used So if you guys know that you've already arranged or finished these elections, why waste almost $1 trillion that could have gone to better uses on it? So Nigerians, this is public funds. Definitely the same blackmail will be used to ensure that the National Assembly passes this whatever budget. Because the issue will be, if you don't pass what we have submitted to you and there's any problem, they don't blame us. So that is the blackmail that has been used by previous Inec chairman to get whatsoever they demand for. So this one will get it. Because the National Assembly will say, let us not be blamed. Let us give them all they ask for. And what are they asking for? Till that were bought 2 years ago.
All right.
That's what they're asking for.
All right.
It's unfortunate.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Eze Luche. Now let's go to Chief Asim Adams. Good morning to you, Chief.
Yeah, good morning, Moses.
Good to have you.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, a pleasure every time. Yes.
Good. Now, this is an INEC that seems to be defended. I mean, it seems like the National Assembly is making excuses for INEC when it comes to the usage of the BVAS and the IREV during, the e-transmission debate. And Nigerians were troubled that why are you holding brief for INEC if the machines have been produced and they can transmit with 2G and the rest of them? Why then would you say, oh no, you can't transmit except you can't transmit because there's no internet? Now, with all that conversation going on, which of course has unsettled some Nigerians are feeling a little short. I mean, this is a little short of 1 trillion naira. Is INEC deserving of this amount of money?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. If you see, Nigeria, this has been the debate we have been having, that Nigeria practices a very expensive presidential system of government. Presidential system of government is very, very expensive. Now, for me, the money or the budget INEC has brought forward is not even on the high side if only it can guarantee credible elections. Let me give you for an example, if you can hear me very well. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go right ahead.
Good. The UK, the last election, 2019, they budgeted the sum of £147 million for election. You can fact check me, 2019 elections, general election, parliamentary. The population of the UK is now up to 100 million. The UK put together. The United States of America, those we copy. If you check the budget for the general elections, you will almost run crazy. The same with France. The same in Africa and South Africa. So what I'm trying to say is that presidential system of elections are very, very expensive. Now, out of the £147 million that was budgeted for the UK election, about £103 million was spent on expenses for electoral officers, payment to electoral officers of how many, as the case may be. You can fact check. So, but the 874 billion, yes, it sounds bogus, it sounds big. But when you look at the current, strength of the Nigerian naira, you will know that that money is not even up to $1 billion, dollars. The Nigerian naira is very weak. So when you hear billions, you would think that it's large sum of money. I will tell you right now that for you to get a decent accommodation, you want to build a house right now in Nigeria, you are going to spend
yes, but INEC officials are not building houses now. INEC officials are not.
I'm just giving you an instance of how weak our naira is. You understand? That money, the 87 billion, for me, is not humongous for an election that will take place in a country that has about 250 million people, for example.
Now the argument also is that a lot of the activities that INEC will engage in, INEC will be getting support, from NURTW, logistics, and the rest. Will INEC pay the policemen that will follow the materials? So Nigerians are asking, is INEC deserving of this amount of money, going by what people know of INEC right now?
I want to say with due respect, I participated in elections directly. I participated when people, use that argument that whether INEC will mobilize police. Yes, they will. They call it logistics. If you don't give them, they say it's not fuel in their vehicle. It's corruption. Now, the NURT lending support to INEC. Are you gonna give your vehicle out to INEC to supply ballot papers to Sokoto State, and nothing is given to you as a Nigerian transporter? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. It's not free. Logistics is not free. I participated in elections. So when NURT only said they are going to tell their members to lend their vehicles for logistic purpose, because they know that INEC cannot buy enough vehicles that will take ballot papers across the country. Can you hire a speedboat from Yenegua to Burutu for free in Nigeria? INEC will pay for those logistics. You are going to pay for ad hoc staff. You're going to pay for technicians who are going to man the BVACs and ETC, as the case may be.
Okay.
Those ballot papers are to be printed. Mind you, for every polling unit, we have 177,000 polling units in Nigeria. 177,000 polling units. You are not going to use the ballot papers of 2023 for 2027. So you must have to understand the register you use in 2023 is not the same you're going to use here. 2027.
Okay. All right.
So you are going to print. You are going to.
Good. I'm happy that you brought us back to 2023 now, and the fact that we have 176,794 polling units in Nigeria. Now let's talk about 2023. 176,978 polling units in Nigeria. Now let's talk about 2023. In 2023, INEC spent 313.4 billion naira to conduct the 2023 general election. And as at that time, our dollar, because you brought in the exchange rate now, the strength of the naira, the dollar exchanged to naira at 648 naira per dollar. Now, if you fast forward, they're asking for 873.78 billion, which hasn't been given anywhere. So if we do the calculations, this is more than 100% increase. But our exchange rate has not done that 100%. So what is the justification for all of that? If they are asking for...
Let me tell you something.
If they're asking for an increment, and we will make it 100% increment, it should be about 626 billion naira. So why are they asking for 873?
It's an assumption. We are just assuming.
I'm not assuming anything. I'm just telling you what they asked for.
I want to tell you practical facts. I want to tell you practical facts.
Excuse me, Barrister Adams.
Tell you practical facts.
But Barrister Adams, I don't know. I've not stimulated. I've not made any assumptions. I'm just giving you itself. Now, Barrister Ezeluche said we conducted an election just 2 years ago. And what about the vehicles? Are they going to buy new vehicles? How about the BVAS machines? Are they going to buy new BVAS machines? Are they going to buy new units or what? So that is what we want to understand. If they're asking for this amount of money.
I want to tell you something, I want us to be realistic in whatever we are doing. And as a team player in the elections, are you aware that the number of BVAS machines that INEC used for the last elections, about 60% of them are damaged? Are you aware? I don't know if you are aware of that.
I'm not aware. What damage?
That is what I'm saying. That is the question. See, I'm not the one to give you the what damage them, but I'm giving you statistics that you can fact check. 2, those particular BVAS machines needs to be reconfigured to suit the 2027 elections. For the third one you raised, I'm giving you a practical example. I printed my business cards that was 2023. The amount I used in printing it when I was to print this year doubled. I'm giving you a personal experience. That is for just my small business here. I needed about 500 pieces of my business card. What I used in printing 500 pieces last year doubled, if not tripled. As I speak to you, I was shocked. So if you see those kind of whatever as case may be, you say that you printed whatever in 2023, so it has to be the same price. I disagree with you. The second one is that Inec vehicles, when you talk about whether vehicles are bad or not, no, not that the vehicles are bad. Inec will have to hire vehicles. The vehicles that about 80% of vehicles used by Inec in the 2023 elections were hired. They didn't belong to Inec. So what is going to happen is that they do the same to hire them, to hire same vehicles. I'm not holding one for them. I'm not realistic. Participated in some elections.
Mr. Adams, when you say you are being realistic, you create the impression that I just threw up figures like that. I didn't throw up figures. I mean, these are also facts.
I'm not challenging you.
No, it's not a debate. I understand all of that. It's not a debate, but
I'm not challenging. I'm just giving you facts. If you allow me to reel it out, let me tell you something. One thing we need to do here is that let us give ourselves understanding, time for us to explain, so that you don't and asphyxiate my flow, because the topic at hand is my opinion, and I am not holding forth to Inec. I'm not their spokesperson. I'm a Nigerian just like you are, but I am telling you that I have participated in elections, even though I know there is corruption in Inec, but do not compare 3 years ago to the prices of what we have today. I am not holding forth to them. Of course, the Senate is going to, vet that particular list. And unless you see the breakdown, 874, we cannot begin to say this is for printing, this is for vehicle or whatever, and you begin to contest it. I'm just giving you a general overview. For instance, 90% of the funds voted for election in the UK, like I told you can fact check me, was spent in paying electoral officers.
Barrister Adams.
That is
Barrister Adams. This is not a Barrister Adams. This is not a debate. I don't even have an opinion on this issue. I'm just an anchor, that asks questions. You have participated in elections. I'm a journalist. I've also monitored elections, both as a journalist and as an election observer. So I understand all of these things, and that is why I'm asking questions. I mean, I did some kind of extrapolation. If this is what we had in 2023, why are you having this in 2027 based on the figures, that I read out and that Inec is asking for? It's not a debate. I just wanted us to be clear, on certain points.
I'm saying that, in my opinion, the money for me is not bogus. It might look bogus, but it's not it's not way scary or out of whatever as case may be. That's my opinion.
All right. Thank you, Barrister Asim. Barrister Eluche, let's come over to you. I have two questions. Barrister Eluche, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. I have two questions. Do you share his sentiments? I mean, the sentiments shared by Barrister Asim. And then secondly, from a legal standpoint, if these elections were to be conducted with the current legal framework we have, do you think the courts will be able to really do its bidding, the bidding of the people, and also ensure that when these technological pitfalls occur, they can hold those who need to bring the people who need to be brought to book, actually?
Well, thank you very much. I do not share the views expressed by Barrister Asim. Just Google checked the cost of elections, and I saw the cost of elections in Ghana, in Kenya, in United Kingdom, Bangladesh. Nigeria runs the most expensive elections in the world. The most expensive, even per voter, ridiculously too high. So when we begin to give excuses for these folks at Inec. They continue to increase these things without accountability, without any checks. We have not even bothered to ask what happened to the last year's things that were bought or procured or hired by last year's elections. With regards to what will happen with the courts, whether the courts will be able to, that was the person who asked about the courts processes. If elections are transparent, was that what you asked about the court process? That was the second leg of the question.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Good. If the elections were to be transparent, I mean, there would be no need for litigation. But when you have elections skewed and that are opaque, that are screwed in mystery, that different figures begin to reel out that there is no electronic transmission, instantaneous electronic transmission from the polling units to a database, then they will have a field day by going to court. And then they seem to believe that in Nigeria, it's not even the people that elect the whoever rules over them. It is the courts that decide, which is rather unfortunate. So the difference, what will make the courts work less, is if there is transparency in the electoral process, and if the people are willing to insist that the police stations must be adhered to. Because there's going to be a time where, when the matters go to court and people know this is not what and the court rules against their popular opinion, people should react immediately. And that will send a clear message to the courts. In fact, left to me, I would say we should avoid even litigation at the next elections. We should, because the courts are virtually in the pocket of a few. So Nigerians should ensure that the electoral process is clean. And it's not the amount of money you throw at Inec that will assure you of a clean process. It is the integrity of the elections. It's the integrity of those who are managing the electoral process. And like I said earlier, thus far, by an unwillingness to even effect the simplest of changes, Mr. Amopiton has not convinced me that he means any well for this electoral process. Thank you very much.
All right, then, thank you very much, Mr. Ezeluche. Now we have Kelvin Ejimudo join the conversation. Good morning to you, Kelvin. Now, I understand you've been following the conversation, so let's just have your thoughts on this. We're talking about approximately 874 billion naira request. Inec is requesting that to conduct forthcoming elections. What are your thoughts on this as we wrap up?
You see, that money is humongous. A country of over 200 something million persons, almost 870 something billion naira. It's what are they buying? What's the cost of the printing of electoral materials, sensitive and non-sensitive electoral materials? INEC also, most of their offices, when after election is done, there's nothing happening there. The offices are empty till the next election is coming, and they go about employing cheap labor. They get youth corpers that they can pay 20,000 naira per election day to reach people's life. They hire vehicles to convey electoral materials to various local government and polling units. They convey them back. So I think this money is too much. We have other pressing matters in our country that would divert such funds to. If our elections will be free and credible, we don't even need to spend even up to 500 million naira to do so at the source. Because what cost are we looking at? Moving materials from point A to point B. And they usually hire vehicles from NURTW, they liaise with them, they give them buses to convey materials. They convey also with NIWA, the waterways to transport materials to the rural communities. So I do not see where this money is going into. For me, it's too much, and they have to revisit it. Let it be well stipulated. What goes for what and when and how. Right?
Well, Nigerians,
figures, we run with this figure.
Well, Nigerians will continue
private account and no accountability. Nobody's held accountable, and we shall go to court.
Because some will be on the side of the money not being enough. Others will say, oh well, Nigeria is spending so much money, we don't need to spend so much more just to conduct elections. And I think all of it just borders on trust and the lack of it. If INEC has shown that yes, it can be trusted, well, I don't think this debate will come up in the first place. Well, thank you very much, Kelvin Ejimudo, and also thank you to Chief Asim Adams and Mr. Ezeluche Esquire. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and also Daily Fanimo. right here with us in the studio. Let's move on to another conversation. Still talking about monies and monies being spent. Nigeria is rich. Now, this is credited to Peter Obi. He says Nigeria is rich, but politicians have turned it into a crime scene. Statement credited to Peter Obi. Let's x-ray this statement when we come back. Join us again.
Welcome back. You're still watching VOP this morning. Former Anambra State Governor and 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has once again ignited national debates by declaring that Nigeria is a wealthy nation crippled by political mismanagement. Speaking at the Anglican Communion Standing Committee meeting in Nnewi, Anambra State, Obi accused politicians of turning the country into a crime scene, wasting public funds on frivolities while critical institutions like schools and hospitals rot away. He praised the church for stepping in to provide quality education where government has failed, stressing that Nigeria's problem is not poverty, but poor governance and reckless leadership. Obi's remarks echoes his consistent message at other public events, including the Oyo State's 50th anniversary Thanksgiving service, where he urged Nigerians to pray for politicians because they are the roots of nations' woes. He emphasized that Nigeria's vast resources are being squandered by leaders who prioritize personal gain over public good, leaving citizens to grapple with unemployment, inflation, and insecurity. Mr. Fanimo, we've had this over and over again. We've heard this. It's almost sounding like a broken record. But again, what I find most interesting is what he said, that we should pray for our politicians. Do you think it's prayer that will work at this point in a system that protects itself and the leaders?
Well, other nations that transform from being a pariah nation to a nation that could be among fast-growing economies did not pray through to get there. So, and I don't think our nation will be an exception. Everything Peter Obi said is actually true. Because, as a matter of fact, I've not seen a country that is as blessed as Nigeria, except maybe another country that is as blessed as Nigeria, that is as terrible as Nigeria is, Democratic Republic of Congo, where what is embedded in their soil is enough to transform Africa and even part of Asia put together. But the nationals that are not even up to a quarter of our population here are in abject poverty. So, it is not peculiar to Nigeria. It's a malaise in the whole of Africa. Bad leadership. And so, for how many centuries are we going to continue to pray? The same leaders will also pray. We don't even know the ones that God answers their prayers more. They also pray, and the pastor that was standing beside P2B was also, they are the ones that pray for these politicians to sustain their looting because they bring fat tithes, offerings, and all that. You understand what I'm saying? So, who do we run to other than for us to decide that enough is enough? We want good leadership. This is across Africa. Because Mo Ibrahim, that wealthy billionaire, instituted a $1 million award for good leadership in Africa. In the last 12 years, I don't think any leader in Africa has been able to measure up to winning that prize. That is instructive. So, are the Germans not from God? They don't pray as much as we pray. A woman who never had a child decided to make Germany work. And when this woman was leaving, one of the things they did for her was that everybody should stand on his or her window and begin to clap for the period this woman's car will be passing towards getting to her home. And it wasn't a compulsive thing. Everybody decided to do it, and we watched it live on television. And everybody stood by their window, and they were clapping for this woman. Thomas Nyerere never owned a house for the period he was ruling in Tanzania. But when he left office, communities donated, built a house for him, a story building. And to even make it outstanding, this man, they were submitting their food produce, farm produce, at his doorstep, that anytime he wakes up in the morning, he couldn't see beyond those farm produce that are piled up. At a point, he had to address the community. Please, I'm old, fragile. How much can I eat from this? Please, take them back and feed your family. So, what we should tell our leaders is, it is not the amount of wealth that makes you comfortable. It is what you throw back to the society, what you build in humanity that makes you successful. How many of them? I have seen governors in this country that stole so much that he didn't live to spend 1% of what he stole.
All right,
So it's safe to say that it's not a moral issue, as Obi has framed it, but it's a structural and systemic issue, right?
It is structural and systemic. We need to build institutions, not individuals.
Okay.
As long as we continue to build individuals against institutions, then we are going nowhere.
Okay, let's take it to Edo State. Calvin, are you there? Can you share your thoughts on this? They say it's not a moral issue. So what exactly is the issue?
I keep saying it that Nigeria, we pray too much. We pray over issues that ordinarily, in the same climb, those are things that are governable. We pray for them to construct roads. We pray for them to build bridges. We pray for them to give us water. We pray for them everything. We pray about it. We start meetings with right throughout the meetings, and we close the meeting also with prayers, and everybody go and send money. It is not enough to say our leaders they don't need prayers. What they need a firm justice system. When we have a firm system of justice that hold these people accountable, they'll be scared. Look at North Korea. Look at those countries, for example. You know, if you steal, you'll be hanged to death. So you don't want to steal. You must go there, be prudent. Just go there for making a name. Look at the governor of your state saying he will declare to ADC if they make him advice to article, he will support with 10 billion naira. A governor. You are boasting to give 10 billion naira to a political party when your state.
Kelvin,
Yes.
well, Sheyi Makinde said he made $1 million at the age of 29. So that's what he said. So if he's asking to donate 10 billion naira, I might just say, or Nigerians might just say, well, he even made money before he became governor. But that's not the point. My question here is this. If you align your thoughts with Peter Obi that, well, politicians are the ones that have run Nigeria aground, you know, our economy, and Nigeria is a rich country of poor people. And I like the fact that you talked about accountability, you know, a system that holds leaders to account. Whose responsibility is the leadership failure? Where does it fall on? Who does it fall on? Is it on the leadership or on the part of the people who have failed to hold the leaders to account?
Part of the leaders first. The head controls the entire body. Whatever affects the head affects the entirety of human existence. And the things we do for humanity remain of history forever. And leaders are so selfish. You see, they stay with you full of impunity. When they call this money, sometimes I begin to that. If this money is put into, for example, electricity, since 1960, we've not been able to get electricity by steps. It's not because we
Kelvin, I hate to butt him, but permit me to do that now. I'd like to ask you, do you see people ordinarily, you know, willingly move out of their comfort zones? Have you seen that happen? You know, you're in a comfort zone, and all of a sudden you decide to give up all the comfort that you have without compulsion, without something, an external force prompting you. Have you seen that happen? I want us to relate it with the fact that, well, we have politicians, we have people in government, and they seem to be ensconced in their comfort zones. And they're actually saying that the people should take responsibility for leadership failure, for not holding leaders to account.
People cannot, the people they are hungry, they are poor, they are starved, and the Jews are supposed to be the hope of the government and not helping matters. You recall the senator representing you today. If you recall the senator, they will give the highest money to the court. The court will tell you that we can't recall him, we don't have a two-thirds majority to recall the person back. But if we have a stronger institutions whereby you know if you commit a crime, A will come for you, then there will be no need of stealing. You see, when there's no justice, the crime becomes inevitable. You don't hold people accountable. A man steals 10 billion naira. Tomorrow he gets to court, he does plea again, he returns 50 million naira to the court and tell him to go and see no more. The man is still a billionaire. But when you rip him off everything he has stolen from the government coffers and he goes back poorer than the poorest, then other people now use as deterrent and say, look at him. See politicians going to court, well dressed with agbada, walking majestically in court, and even challenging status quo of the judiciary. Seeking for fundamental human rights when they have squandered the entire fundamental human rights of the masses. It's plain that institutions are not stronger than individuals. People boast, you see politicians boasting that nothing will happen if they go to court, and really nothing will happen. They tell you to go to court because they know the judiciary is in their plan, it's in their payroll. But when we see where the judiciary is stronger than all emotions, according to evidence, that the rule of law to be stronger than all emotions in the land. But in Nigeria, the money is stronger than the rule of law. And then what happens? Crime and criminality becomes the order of the day. Lawlessness and all it becomes the order of the day. So not we holding them accountable, it is the institution of government be stronger than those in government. Because even if I call a senator representing my constituency today, he will still go back behind and bribe his way through and will say, we would not meet up the two-third majority, the corporate cannot be done. And Nigerian politicians, they never say never. They're like Liverpool. They're saying they don't work alone. They must make sure they have the cartel, keep from one party to another party. That is money.
All right.
You are a country so blessed with mineral and natural resources, and where we are, it's a shame.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Kelvin Ajimudo, for your submission there. Thank you. Let's bring this back to the studio while we try to reconnect with our virtual guests. Or do we still have Chief Asim Adams and Barrister Ezeliche with us? All right then. Okay. So let's come back to you now, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Now, like my colleague,
that makes people acquiesce to bad leadership. It is that you are also complicit. That it is even the poverty that should galvanize you, drive you to ensure that you get out of that poverty by making sure that you get the right leadership. So we have tested this, and it has at least shown that we can go ahead and still do more. Now it is the time for us to begin to galvanize ourselves and ask ourselves questions that if I take 10,000 naira during election day, that 10,000 naira translates to 2,500 naira per year for 4 years. And 2,500 naira in 12 places, less than 230 naira. And in 1 month, so probably you are pining away for 4 years, having taken less than 100 naira a day. So you now know that it's your choice. Lee Kuan Yew said, I have 2 options. Either to amass wealth for my family or to make sure that Singapore works for my generation.
Okay.
And he chose the latter.
Okay.
And so, our destiny is in our hands.
Our destiny is in our hands. That's a good landing point, if you ask me. But we are being rejoined by Chief Asim Adams, Esquire, and Mr. Ezeliche, Esquire. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming back into the conversation. Let me go very quickly now to Chief Asim Adams. Now, Chief, if you follow the conversation, Nigerians not holding their political leaders accountable. Some will say it is complacency on the part of the people. But let's look at a few very recent incidents, and then the role of the courts now in all of this. We have a situation where former AGF is being tried in courts, and some have said Justice Egwatu reclusing himself is out of fear and probably frustration as to where the case might take him to, or where the case will get to. And also, very recently too, we have a case of former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, who, there were talks about monies taken from the state amounting to over 100 billion naira, and the case is in court, and Nigerians were hopeful that yes, something will come out of it. But then you remember everything that happened, the arrest, the prevention of arrest by the current governor, Ododo. And now, one of the witnesses, EFCC witness, came out to say, look, actually, the money didn't pass through his account. And Nigerians at that point seem to lose hope in having a probable outcome for that trial. So would you say the people have been complacent, or the system has been rigged in such a way that the will of the people, the people know that their will and desires will not be actualized, so they just fold their hands and, seek for their own daily bread?
Yeah, thank you very much. What has happened in Nigeria is that we have had a very docile population, citizens that do no longer believe in the existence of this nation called Nigeria. Many Nigerians are disillusioned. So when you come out, you see people referring to them, the government people, and we, the masses. The reason is because there's a big divide between the people who govern us and those of them that they govern. It's not far-fetched. Why? I have looked up to myself. I said, why should I even participate in elections coming up in 2027, for instance? For the years I've lived on earth in Nigeria here, I have not benefited anything from government or governance. Is it education? Is it health? Is it fees for my children? Is it accommodation? Is it whatever? Just name it that I have benefited. from government and governance. So you find out that I'm not enthusiastic, to begin to participate or begin to ask questions because I provide everything for myself. Now, the few who believe in the fact that Nigeria will work, they come out because of the fact that they are gaining one way or another from these politicians. Good example, yesterday I watched something that almost made me weep. The EFCC, even though wrongly so, they accosted, an El-Rufai at the airport, etc. I'm not supporting that, the way they went about it. But I was surprised that passengers resisted the EFCC and prevented the EFCC from taking away El-Rufai. I asked the question, I said, between El-Rufai and the EFCC, now, which one is loved by Nigerians? Nigerians seem to love the El-Rufai politician than the institution that should checkmate, an El-Rufai for corruption. In the Ododo's case, you saw how Yahaya Bello was ferried out. And when he got to a point, they stormed Kogi State, the same people came out to protect, a politician whom they said stole your money, about $70 billion or whatever as case may be. You were protecting him from being arrested. Whether he was to be arrested, in a manner that is not palatable or etc. as case may be, is something that should happen. In the Rochas case, when the EFCC went to his house and they couldn't see him, people were hiding him. They had to go through the roof to see if they can get it. They were driven away from the EFCC were driven away by the people.
So the people are the problem.
So the question we're asking now is that the corrupt politicians,
so the people are the problem.
Those who are supposed to monitor corrupt politicians, which is better? We find that institutions are so weak. That is why you see politicians explore and exploit those weak crevices, as the case may be. And the people have been hurt by a syndrome we refer to as Stockholm Syndrome. That is, you are emulating corrupt people who have put you in a mess of this nature. Every day you emulate them, you celebrate them on page of newspaper, social media, etc. Whereas these people are those who have put you in penury. That is a Stockholm Syndrome that we know. So the people also need, an ethical rebate. Nigerians need, ethical revolution. Where maybe we can sit down and rejig ourselves in this country and see whether we can be more patriotic and defend the nation called Nigeria. Patriotism is lacking. That is just the truth of the matter. They believe that those in government are those. Let them.
All right then.
Let them steal and go and enjoy, and nothing is to be done to them. This is the biggest problem we have.
Chief Adams, patriotism is lacking according to you. Well, let's go to Mr. Eze Luche Esquire and get his thoughts on this one, and then we'll go around for concluding thoughts. Mr. Eze Luche, now, what's your stance on this? Is it complacency on the side of the people, or is it the system itself that has made it possible for the politicians to continue to ravage the country, as it were, and what can be done to solve the problem?
Thank you very much. I think it's not complacence on the side of people, like even Barrister Sim just mentioned. The reaction of passengers to the EFCC attempt at unlawful arrest of El-Rufai tells you that people are now ready to act in defense of whatever they feel is proper, and also to condemn improper conduct. So people are not complacent. What has happened, which we must realize, is that Nigeria has been captured. I mean, when Nigerians are now, it's like we're like people who are in our own houses, then armed robbers come in and take over the apartments or the residence. For the time when those armed robbers are there with their guns, they appear to be in full control and they are the bosses. But the people in the family in that house know that they are being ruled by armed robbers, and they're just waiting for maybe the slightest opportunity or the slightest crack to be able to break through and perhaps wrest these arms from the robbers who are in control. So the people are not complacent. They are faced with very vicious criminals as rulers, not leaders. We must always correct that impression. Now, back to what Mr. P2B said. He's very, very right. Nigeria is a very rich and blessed country, but unfortunately, the government has pauperized and criminalized the people. Look at the minimum, the wage, the salaries. Every civil servant in Nigeria, by virtue of their salary, is a criminal, even up to the level 16 officers. When you are a level 16 officer and your annual take home is about less than 10 million, and you live in a house where you're paying over 10 million per annum, you're paying school fees of over 20 million for your children, you have been criminalized. So the Nigerian state deliberately criminalizes its citizens.
So it's
it portends ill for our country. So I mean that is not the reality. Okay. So yes, we are not complacent. Yes.
But Stacey, you touched on a very important point, you know, how the society has been criminalized. And I don't know if you read Julius Caesar, you know, Brutus, Cassius at some point told Brutus, my dear brother, I think the problem is not in our stars, but in us that we are underlings. I asked this question. Now, I want to bring in that that phrase into what we are discussing here now. You said that the system has been captured. And when we talk about system capture, in Nigeria, we normally say, well, hunger has been weaponized. You discover that in almost everything, every generalization about the world, Nigeria seems to be different. In other parts of the world, when hunger bites so hard, the people are spurred to action. If you look at the Arab Spring, if you look at the Russian Revolution, if you look at the French Revolution, if you look at what happened in Kenya, you know, in 2023, nobody is calling for all of that. But this is hunger that spurred people into action. But in our own case, the moment we say, oh, politicians have weaponized hunger, everybody sits back. The problem, is it in our stars or in all that we are underlings? The same question again.
It is not in our stars. That is why what happened into the NSAS, to the palliative riots, scared the living daylights out of these rulers. Because across the country, irrespective of region or religion, people came out and they were very, very aggrieved. And they saw themselves losing grip. And immediately the government had control of the situation, they began to invest deeply into religious divides and ethnic divides, like this present government is doing. Creating ethnic and religious divides at all costs. But Nigerians should show resilience because we have realized that irrespective of your religion, of your ethnicity, of whatsoever, we have two clans. Those who are ruling over us and destroying us, and then those who are left in Nigeria. So, and we are far more than them. So it is not in our stars. Nigeria, and that's what this kind of programs, or even trying to sensitize people, is all about. So that they can realize that, yes, it's not tribe issue, it's not religion, it is us versus them, and they must go because we are far more than them. Because if we allow a continuation of this, let me tell you what is going to happen to this country. Already we have criminals being groomed to rule over Nigeria. And our girls have become like prostitutes. I mean, the whole idea of senators being slapped on their bum, women being victimized or being forced to go to bed with ministers at the highest level, millionaire female being forced to relinquish their femininity or their selves. It is to pass a message to our young girls that if a senator can be abused and nothing happens, if a billionaire estate developer can be abused and nothing happens, you, the young girl, become a prostitute so can ride on. And you see the government now trying to patronize criminal elements in the male criminal elements to tell people that, look, let us forget about propriety, let us forget about intellectualism. You have to become a criminal to survive in this system. And Nigerians must resist that. Because if we do, then we are done for. And unfortunately for these rulers who are ruling over us, before they thought they could run to the US, they could run to Europe and stash away their wealth, or even to Arabia. That even if you steal and you take these monies to America or to Europe or to Arabia, they will victimize you when the time comes. They will allow you to come and settle. Then one day they will ask your children, how did you make this money? And they will throw you back either into jail or back to Nigeria. So the unfortunate part we have is that our rulers are stupid. They don't understand that in the long term, they will come back here and suffer like they have created this suffering. But other countries are realizing and they are becoming leaders in essence. But we have to effect that change. And at the earliest opportune moment, hopefully, by 2027, we should garner our resources and ensure that this level of criminality in governance does not stay a day longer. That is when we can move forward in this country.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Should I take this as your concluding thoughts?
Yes, my dad, you do, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, us versus them. Thank you very much. That's coming from Mr. Ezeliche Esquire, legal practitioner, a public affairs commentator. Thank you very much. Now, let me go to Kelvin Ajumido. Kelvin, in 1 minute, please, give us your concluding thought. Let's have you wrap up in 1 minute. You could merge the conversations we've had together. 1 minute. All right, I do understand. Go to Chief Asim Adams. Yes. Let's have your concluding thoughts in 1 minute. Us versus them, Mr. Ezeliche says. But then, are they not from us? Are we not them? Talk to me.
You see, the point is, my concluding thought is, Professor Ali Mazrui in the 70s once described Africa, especially Nigeria, as a Garden of Eden in decay. And when he was probed on why that, negative profiling of Nigeria especially, he said Nigeria is the only country in the world as at that time that he has seen that has every natural resource, but management of that natural resource has become its problem. That a country that has everything that is needed on earth, Nigeria has it. Is it manpower? Is it natural resources? He said, but the simplest thing to do, management of these resources, is our problem. That is why we have poverty here in Nigeria. And his postulation in the 70s still holds water today.
All right.
That is my own take and my last statement on this.
Mr.
Except
Adams.
we change the mantra,
Mr. Adams.
we'll keep remaining like this.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
As we round off this, let me tell you and Moses that I'm not happy with you. They conferred you with a chieftaincy title, and you didn't invite me.
No,
Only Moses has been addressing you as Chief Adams. He's
always
I'm not happy, and both of you will hear from me. After the show, both of you will hear from me.
Okoro, I will chat you after the program. No, it's been about 20 years.
He's always
not
been
recently.
Oh, so you will chat him and then you will send email to his account. Oh, well, thank you very much. Chief Asim Adams Esquire, legal practitioner, civil rights activist, former spokesperson, Chief Beatrice Etubo, P2B campaign organization, Labour Party 2023. Thank you very much for your thoughts now. Dele Fanimo, in 30 seconds.
We should take our destiny firmly and use our God-given sovereignty, which is the ballot, the way we should. And let's see how Nigeria will transform from what it is today to a better nation, good enough for our children and our other generations that are coming behind us.
That's a good place to pin it. Thank you very much, Dele Fanimo, reporter and public affairs commentator. Well, that's it on the show today. Newspaper review comes up next. I'm Moses Humphrey. Join us again at 10. Bye for now.
And I'm Chukwuma Okoro. Bye for now.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti and you're watching BOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Ika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaged